Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, in this video we will have our discussion on a topic which gets debated a lot amongst the Vedic astrology followers. Is it right to pre-decide the time of the birth of a newborn child? Like through this practice, are you coming in the way of the divine will or the universe's work or not? So in this video we will try to look at it. First of all, the objective is to look at the principled side of it, and then we will look at that if you have to do it, which all are the parameters which you have to follow. And guys, just to add some more flavors to this topic, to this discussion, there is a web series which came like couple of years back only, which was a big hit. The web series name was Asur. Now in that web series, it was being shown that one of the main antagonist of the series, Asur means a devil, a Satan. So his father was a very great, a profound traditional astrologer, and he has done a very valid, a proper calculation that on this specific day and time, if a child is going to be born, he is going to be like very kingly. He will be blessed with such a good yogas that he will be a assured case of success. But what happened? The universe has something else in mind, that the muhurat or the date and the time which he taken out, just a day before of that only, his wife got into an accident, she got into labor, and she has to deliver the child. And just because that guy was a profound astrologer, the father of the child, when he looked at the astrological calculation of that time of the birth, it was a time when a person is going to be born with a destiny of being a Satan, of being a devil. Like even if you follow, like I've given that reference a lot many times, like this demon king Ravan. Ravan was a very profound astrologer as well. And what he did is that just because he wanted his son to be invincible, like he's going to be unconquerable by any force in the universe. So what did he do? He placed all the planets in the 11th house of his son's chart, so that no other planet is going to be causing any harm, and all the planets are going to be hard bent on fulfilling the wish of his son. But at the last minute, Saturn just extended his one leg and put his leg in the 12th house, which is the house of the losses, and became responsible for his death. So now coming to the point of the moral compass, is it right to do that or not? So guys, look at it in this way. Again, whatever I'm saying over here, it's my personal view, my personal opinion. If you do not agree to it, it's fine. Please write it in the comment section. I would love to know that what you feel around this. First of all, guys, look at it in this way. If this is a science, I always approach astrology as a science. So that means the way we make use of all the provisions available around us. Like if God forbid someone has been put into any legal dispute, that person will definitely go and seek the help from a lawyer, right? He will not say that just because I'm under the fury of the planet Saturn or Rahu, let me go through all kind of litigation issue. Or this could be a case that if someone has fallen sick, that person will not say that let me go through the will of the gods. Why shall I take medicine? Why shall I consult a doctor? Same is the way you have to approach astrology. With a very scientific mindset, you will always be well guided in the life. You will not walk life with a very fatalistic mindset. You will be motivated and you will put more attention, energy in creating your own efforts, creating your own destiny. So that is the first explanation which I want to give. The second explanation is that, guys, look at it in this way. Same like you, I am also very religious, I'm also very spiritual, and just because I have a strong Ketu, so I strongly believe and honor and respect the universal laws. So what I'm trying to say is that an astrologer's job is just to give a right time and date when the planets are in harmony. Now, even after knowing that, there has been so many instances that some or other complication happened, and if the universe look at it in this way, that the soul which is going to be coming in your life, in your family, that soul has got its own accumulated karma, and that soul is coming in order to somehow get the fruit and go through the life based on its own karmic account only. So it will only be born at a time from a womb in a family which is going to be completely in synchronicity with the karmic account of that soul. So nothing is gonna happen, or it's not going to be the case that universe has something else in mind, in plan, and you came in the way and you altered the destiny of someone. Guys, trust me on this thing, and this is one such area where I always get into conflict with, even while doing astrological consultation for my clients. If you approach an astrologer with this mindset that that astrology session is going to alter your destiny or change your life, it is not going to happen. Please, you are heading for disappointment. Astrology is all about, it's like these days astrologers are like life coach. Their objective is to study your strength, study your talents, study your life, study your chart, running dasha and transit, and give you the best alternative course of action, advise you the right alternative course of action in that conflicting situation of yours. So that has to be very clearly marked in your mind. And all those kind of people who become victim of the frauds are those people when they go to these kind of people who say that, okay, I can see this kind of blockage which you have to pay me $5,000, $10,000, I will do this cleansing and all. So when there is no I guess this movie which came on Bradley Cooper, that movie was about that only, the night time, I forgot the name, I will put it on the poster, I will put it on the screen of this video. So that's what I'm trying to say, that if you approach astrology this way, you are headed for the disappointment. Now, the point over here is that when we talk about that, now you have agreed. It's just like that, if any client of yours have approached you for the right time of birth and all of that has been done with a proper instruction received from the doctor himself. Like doctor only and the hospital only has given you dates to choose from. And then you are approaching an astrologer. So now comes the second part of this video, this discussion, that what you can do. So guys, at a time of doing any of these kind of advising the right date and time of birth to someone, to a family, always prefer that moon should not be afflicted. Ascendant should not be afflicted. These are the two things which whenever family approach me and whenever I have to find the right and select the right time and date of the birth, this is what I always give my utmost important priority. Like guys, we know this thing that moon in a way transit in one zodiac sign for almost 2.5 days. It stays in one nakshatra for a day, like roughly I'm telling about. So let's take up the case of today. So for example, if the client has given me a window of the next 10 days. So we know this thing that at a time when today I'm recording this video, moon is transiting in the Aries. Now look at it. What is going to be happening in the next couple of days? Now when the transiting moon is going to enter the Taurus, not only it is going to be getting exalted, but it is going to be get conjunct with the planet Jupiter as well. That is a good case. Now the second option could be when moon will transit to the Cancer sign. Now moon is placed in its own territory, but it is going to be conjunct with the debilitated planet Mars as well. Now Mars, which is retrograde as well. Now the good thing is that this is going to be forming a Chandra-Mangal yoga, which is considered as good for the wealth. But it will make the temperament of the child to be a little bit kind of, we say this thing, that little bit prone to anger. And let's say, for example, if moon is like close to the Gandanta degree, like if moon is going to be placed in the very end of the Cancer sign, it is going to be placed in the Ashlesha nakshatra, then the vulnerability is going to be high. Guys, the very first thing is that while advising someone the right time of birth, the very first thing which you have to give attention to, like if you have a window of the next 7, 8 or 10 days available with you, the very first thing which you have to give attention is the state of the moon. And again guys, over here, like the more knowledge you have of the Panchang, the better it is going to be working out for you. So for example, it's about a whole combination of the Tithi, Var, Yog, Karan, Nakshatra. And it will be a very win-win situation. Like if you will find a symmetry taking place, like for example, I remember when I gave one of my client this time of birth over there, like we know this thing that even if you will take into consideration Tithi, we know that Dvitiya is a Tithi which is somehow connected with the Brahmdev. Tritiya is a Tithi which is connected with the Gauri. So it has been generally seen people who are born on the Tritiya, the third Tithi, they are very fond of makeup and fashion and all. People who are born on the Triyodashi, it is somehow connected with the Kamdev. That also carries the energy of the passion, good photography skills and all. Now, if you will find a blend of the like Panchang as well, that it is going to be falling like Tritiya Tithi or the Triyodashi Tithi, it is going to be a Var. Var is going to be, weekday is going to be Friday. Over there you will find the energy of the Venus as well. Nakshatra is, for example, is going to be of the Purva Falguni. From the English calendar, it is going to be the 6th day of the month as well, 15th day of the month as well, 24th day of the month as well. And overall alignment, like Venus is also strong in the dignity, then we can say this thing that, okay, based on the day which we need to select, we were able to get it finalized. Now the second thing comes when you have finalized a day, on a day when moon is not under any sort of affliction, because we know this thing that moon stays in one zodiac sign for 2.5 days. So in the transit, whichever planet it is going to be getting conjunct with, that could be the very first clue which you have to take. Now you have zeroed in a day that, okay, you have selected, for example, from December like 14th till 16th, for example, you got to know that, okay, moon is going to be conjunct with the Jupiter, it is going to be exalted. So the days you have already shortlisted. Now comes the part that you have to select the hour of the day as well. So the Hora will become very important and the Lagan will become very important, because as per the Lagan, all what you have to give attention is that the ascendant has to be in a strengthened state. If you will find that the ascendant lord, for example, I've been giving this example that Mars is retrograde and you are going to be selecting that you selected a Muhurat over where like moon is going to be exalted in the Taurus, it is going to be conjunct with Jupiter, but the Lagan which you chose, that happened to be the Aries Lagna. Now we know this thing that the ascendant lord is going to be the planet Mars, which is retrograde and which is debilitated as well. It is not going to be a very good sign. So these are the things which you have to give attention. For example, you chose the Gemini Lagna. So you chose the Gemini Lagna. Now we know this thing, what is happening? The ascendant lord of the Gemini becomes the Mercury, the sign lord I mean to say. But if you selected that rising sign, those are 2 hours in the Gemini, when the Gemini sign is rising, so that means the sign lord becomes the Mercury. It is retrograde, it is kind of placed in a Scorpio sign, and for the Gemini rising it is going to be falling in the 6th house. So over here what you are finding is that the ascendant lord is getting weak. So that means all the attributes of the Mercury, the skin of the native, health of the native, relationship with the maternal uncles and something, nervous system and all, capacity to comprehend, basic education might suffer because of that. So yes guys, when it comes down to the selection of the right day and the time, the very first thing is that the days can be selected on the basis of the giving attention to the transit of the moon, and it will be win-win situation if you can include the whole Panchang as well. What you have to avoid strictly is that moon shall not be under the influence of the malefic planets. Moon should not be in the Gand Mool Nakshatra, in the nakshatra of the Ketu or the Mercury. That is the first thing. Based on that, you selected a specific day. Now on that specific day, when moon is unafflicted, now you have to give attention to the ascendant. And let's say for example, if you have that flexibility, so now even after that, like there is a gap of the 15 minutes. So within that rising sign which you have selected, which is making the moon strengthened, which is making the ascendant strengthened, which is making the trine houses strengthened from the rising sign or the Lagan which you have selected for the newborn child. If the 8th house, 6th house or the 12th house is not becoming very powerful, like trust me, never ever pick a Muhurat over where the ascendant lord is making any connection with the 8th house, or moon is making any connection with the 8th house. And if you have that flexibility after doing those initial clearance, then give attention to the D9 chart as well. What kind of sign, like if you will select a specific rising sign in the ascendant, in that specific hour, what is the Navamsa sign which is rising over there? What is the state and condition of the first house of the D9 chart and the planet which is placed in the first house of the D9 chart, and where the first lord in the D9 chart is placed? That will give you a stronger idea about the karma of the soul, about the bhagya, the fortune or the fate of the soul. That is how you can do the interpretation. So yes guys, this was just a very basic video. What I will do is that in another part of this video, I will present it on the basis of the like from a screen recording. I will be explaining it to you, and I'll be selecting the lagan, changing the date, changing the time, and based on that I will be giving explanation. So yes guys, and one more thing guys which I want to say over here is that at the time of doing this whole selection, the moon nakshatra will also becomes very important, because it somehow lays foundation to the planetary time period, the planetary dasha which that native is going to get. Now imagine if you pick up a muhurat or you pick up a birth time over where at the time of the main prime career of the person, he has to go through a dasha of a planet which is going to be very weak, and it is placed in a very house of afflicted. And we know that the planetary dasha tend to remain, like if you are in a Venus dasha 20 years, Saturn dasha 19 years. So that means the major prime area of the life is going to be filled with the slowness, with the delays, and with the struggle. So all these are the kind of things which you have to take into consideration. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.